and welcome to a new episode. I have skipped out on you guys for about 2 or 3 weeks now. I have been hard at work on my second book, which I am honestly so excited for you to finally get your hands on. Pre-orders are now open officially. It's actually my birthday eve. Tomorrow is my birthday. I will be 33 years old, which honestly feels so weird. Like, I have to constantly remind myself that I'm in my 30s. I swear, like, when you're a teenager and you look at 30 or 40 or whatever, you look at it as this age that just seems so far away until you get here and you still feel like a kid. So anyway, that already went off on a ramble. I am the queen of rambles, that is for sure. But my one birthday wish was to have this book ready for pre-order, because even though it's not 100% complete and ready for you to read right now, just having it up for pre-order means that it's almost there. It means that we're one step closer. It means that we're one step closer for you to have it in your hands to be able to read it. I will share the link in the caption. I'm not going to tell you all about that book in here, because in this episode I want to talk about health anxiety. Before I get to that, I do just want to say that this book is going to start off as an ebook. I have had a lot of questions about that. It's going to start off as an ebook, so it doesn't matter where in the world you live, you can order it and it will be delivered straight to your inbox at some point next month. The official date will be announced within the next week or so. And honestly, like, I keep saying the same thing, but I'm so excited because this is a book that I honestly wish that I had so that I could have avoided Google and all the fear and everything that goes with it. I created this book to help take some of that fear out, so that instead of going to Google, you'll hopefully find what you need in this book. And instead of, when you end up on a site on Google and it tells you that you're dying or you have a terminal illness, this book will explain how your symptom may be connected to anxiety. So pre-orders are open right now. If the pre-order price allows you to get the book at half price of what the actual cost is going to be, once it goes on sale, pre-orders are going to be open up until the end of the month, until Halloween. I thought that's a good day to keep the pre-orders open until. So if you want to learn more about my book, if you want to lock in the pre-order price and order your own copy, then be sure to click the link in my bio. Or in this case, because you're listening to a podcast, I realized, in the caption. Okay, so I want to dive into this episode. I usually go on my stories on Instagram and we kind of have a conversation together. The community connects and you guys let me know some of your top symptoms you're dealing with, and then we kind of come up with the topic together, like the next episode topic together. And if you're dealing with dizziness or heart palpitations or any throat sensations, I've just recently done episodes on all of those. Again, I will link it here for you. But for today's one, just from all the messages that I receive and from reading through your comments, I made the decision that I want to talk about health anxiety, because I read your messages and I feel my heart hurts for you, honestly, because I read some of your messages and it's as if I'm reading something that I would have written years ago when I was going through it. So when you send me these messages or I read your comments, I can 100% relate to what you're going through. Of course, we all have our own unique experiences and I don't know your exact experience, but I do know how it feels to just live in this complete fog. Like, you're not even living, you're just in this place where you question and you ask yourself, like, is this life? Like, is this my life? Because you constantly Google whatever symptom you're stressing about. You're constantly thinking about it. You're constantly worrying about it. Maybe you go to the doctor and the doctor reassures you and you either don't believe him or her, the doctor, him or her, Or you get just that temporary reassurance before the fears start to come up again. Or you feel relieved. Okay, I feel better about this. I had a doctor's opinion. But then right away, if you're anything like me, shortly after that, it's like you have this kind of brief period of just rest where it's like kind of feels like you're on vacation. Okay, like I had my symptom validated. I feel better about it. I had it checked out by a medical professional. I feel better. But it's almost like you're just waiting for the next thing. Well, that's how it would be for me. And then it wouldn't last long before I was worrying about something else. I used to spend my time sitting on Google and looking up forums, like hoping that I would find people that were dealing with the same thing that I was, where I could just feel some kind of connection, some kind of relief, some kind of comfort. And I tell you all the time, this is why I started my Instagram page in the very first place, because I know what it feels like to feel like you have nowhere to go. And with this episode, I know so many of you are struggling with health anxiety right now. Maybe you've been struggling for years. Maybe it's a new thing for you. But I know you know what? It's okay to say this fucking sucks and this feels like hell. This feels like shit. It's okay. Like really, we can't pretend that it's not bad. Like before we can move through something, we have to fully acknowledge it and say, you know what, this sucks, because it does. A little bit about my own story. I actually grew up with a mom who had really bad, it was called hypochondria back then. It's now called health anxiety. And so I grew up with a mom who definitely did struggle with that. And I'm not saying that, oh, because my mom had hypochondria or health anxiety, that's why I have it. But it did start at an early age for me, where I was very hyper aware of every single sensation that would come up for me, every single symptom. I was very hyper aware of my body. And of course, when you are so hyper focused on your body, you are always going to find something. You are always going to notice something. I think I was talking in one of the previous episodes about a lot of people experience that feeling like they can't swallow. And swallowing, for example, is something that we just do automatically throughout the day. We don't think about it. We just do it because we have to, right? We it's gross, I guess, but it's natural too. We just swallowing our saliva all day long. Or if we don't swallow, we'll stand and start drooling. But it's not something that we think about. It's just something that's automatic. But the minute you start putting your focus there and start paying attention to it, it's going to feel strange and you're going to start experiencing weird sensations. It's going to feel like you maybe have to make yourself swallow because you're not allowing your body to do it automatically. You're putting your attention there. I really hope this makes sense. I don't want to, I don't have any papers with me. Usually I plan out these podcasts, and I don't want to edit it. I wanted to sit down and I just wanted whatever comes out to come out. I just want this to be really real. But I hope that makes sense. So the minute you start putting attention on something, you're going to find something. You're going to notice something. For example, I've always been, one of my worst parts of health anxiety was paying too close attention to my muscles, my moles, my lymph nodes. And I think I was putting on moisturizer one day or putting on makeup or something, and I felt like these little balls in my neck, which is your lymph nodes, right? But I had never really paid attention to my lymph nodes before. I knew of lymph nodes, but I wasn't sitting there looking for them. And that just started it for me, where I remember feeling like a lymph node in my neck that felt kind of big. And then I felt the other side of my neck, and the lymph node on that side felt smaller. And then oh my God, that just started a whole spiral of thinking for me, where I started to become absolutely paranoid. and then your brain really takes over from there, and then you start feeling other parts of your body. Like, what if there's another swollen lymph node? Or I would feel my body and feel, I would literally be feeling a muscle, and I would convince myself that it is a lump. Because here's the thing, like, if we start pushing and feeling around, we're going to feel things. Like, it's normal parts of our body. We have muscle tissue and we have lymph nodes, and we're going to feel it. But when you have health anxiety and you're so fixated on it, your brain takes something that's completely normal and starts to make you think that maybe, just maybe, this is something. I remember that lymph node in my neck. I was about 16. Maybe I was 16, 17. I feel like around 16, 17, that's when my health anxiety really started to kick in. And I remember being, I couldn't do anything. And I used to think to myself, I'm 16 years old, like, I'm supposed to be having fun and I'm supposed to be enjoying myself. And here I'm sitting and feeling my neck over and over again and analyzing this freaking lymph node. But at the time, I didn't even know it was a lymph node. I thought it was like a lump. And I was freaking out. And I went to the doctor. We had a really amazing family doctor in South Africa where I grew up. And I went to him a few times with issues that I was worried about. And he was just so patient and so calm and would always explain things to me, which I was very fortunate for. And I remember he sat and like drew this picture and like explained lymph nodes to me and how they effectively our body's filtering system, and they can get bigger at times and they can go down, and there's certain things that can make them bigger. Like if you have a lot of mucus going on in your throat, they can swell up. I actually have one in my throat that is just permanently swollen from chronic tonsillitis infections that I used to have when I was a kid. Fun fact, I still have my tonsils. I didn't end up having them taken out, and my infections just ended up stopping eventually. But yeah, he sat with me and explained it and was very patient. But the thing with health anxiety is you get that temporary reassurance, and then your brain is on to the next thing, or it's those what ifs. But what if, what if the doctor didn't detect this, or what if this lymph node is a problem now? And it's this endless loop that you just feel like you cannot break free from. I would sit in my room and I would just sit in my room and just wonder if I'm ever going to feel okay. And I would obsess, and I would feel like I'm losing my mind, and I would feel crazy, and I couldn't tell anyone just how scared I was, because I was terrified of looking like I was insane or losing my mind. Like, even when I described it, if I told like my mom I'm worried about this thing, I wouldn't even go into detail about just how terrified I was. Like, inside I was freaking out. I would just, be worried about it, and, she'd say, oh, it's okay, or I'd go to the doctor and, oh, it's fine. But my mind, man, I realize that I'm probably going on a ramble here, and I hope that you're still with me. But if you are sitting in it right now, and you have maybe spent too much time, even today, on Google, or you've been sitting there in fear because you literally start to feel like your chest tightens, your stomach, like I would be worried about something, and I would know that I want to look it up on Google, and while I am like typing it into Google before I search it, I would be feeling completely sick. I would be nauseous. My stomach would be in a knot. My heart would be racing. I would be physically shaking and sweaty and just feeling awful because I didn't know what it was gonna say, And sometimes I would hit search, and there would be these like serious illnesses or diseases that would come up right away with whatever I was searching, and that would just send me into complete panic. So if that sounds like you, I just want you to know that I understand. If you feel like you're all alone right now and like you have nobody to talk to or nobody who truly gets it, you maybe feel completely isolated, you feel like you're going crazy or losing your mind, I just want you to know that you are not. I promise you, you are not losing your mind. I was you. And you're safe. You're safe. Like, maybe you just need to hear that. Our brains run off and create all sorts of stories. The minute we even feel that fear, it's like a trigger for our brain. Okay, something is up. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about my own experience. Maybe it's just comforting to hear like someone else talk about their own experience with it. I know for me, like, I'm trying to give you guys what would have helped me or what did help me. Like, whenever I stumbled across forums where people were like reassuring each other and talking about their own experiences, that did give me a lot of relief. So I hope that just by listening to me, you can experience some of that relief for yourself. So I just want to tell you some of the things that were especially scary for me. Maybe they're the same for you, maybe not. Like I say, we all have different experiences, and health anxiety affects us all differently. Like, of course, we're all going to experience different symptoms, right? So the one that I feel really was one of the first ones that just kind of sent me down my health anxiety like path, honestly, was twitching muscles. I remember one day I was having lunch with my mom and I started to feel like a twitch in my wrist, and it honestly just like spiraled from there, because I had never really experienced twitching before. I was like, what is happening? Like, why is my muscle just jumping? Like it feels like I have no control over like my hand. And then my fingers started twitching, and my mom had this medical book. Don't ask me why we had. My mom, I think she wanted to be a doctor for a while, and she had all these medical books, and it was just really interesting for her. And she would also always look up her symptoms because she struggled with like health anxiety herself. So I remember finding this book. It was like a full A to Z of every medical symptom. How exciting, right? And I looked up like twitching muscles, and I came across like these degenerative muscle diseases, these pretty serious ones. And I can't even tell you how absolutely horrified I felt in that moment. I felt sick. I felt absolutely sick. And then I started to fixate on the symptom, and I started getting muscle twitching everywhere. So now I had this one muscle twitch, and I looked it up, and I had come across this really awful thing, and I was so scared, and all that I was wanting was for that one twitch to just go away, please. And then can you imagine, and this may be you, like maybe this sounds really familiar. I then started twitching in like many other body parts really intensely, and I can't even, like, there's no words. Like, I was so scared. It's like almost like that time in my life was kind of a blur. I don't even remember. Like I said, I was a teenager. Like I feel like I should have been enjoying my life and like having fun, you know, but I was just thinking that I was dying the whole time. Like, that was my life. And it just kind of spiraled from there. I had learned that, okay, muscle twitching, like, some people get it, it's common, but I knew nothing about anxiety. I knew nothing about how just tight muscles alone can cause twitching. I had no idea about BFS, which is benign fasciculation syndrome, which is basically, it's all over body twitching that's linked to stress and anxiety, and it's completely harmless. But I didn't know any of this stuff. I had come across this one thing telling me I had this very serious illness, and I didn't even want to go to the doctor to have it like confirmed, you know. I just wanted it to go away. So muscle twitching, whenever I think of health anxiety and how it really started for me, muscle twitching was a really big one. And it just escalated from there. I became paranoid about so many other things. I would experience anxiety symptoms as a result of my body being permanently stressed out and in that fight or flight mode. So things like dizziness, shortness of breath, blurry vision, heart palpitations, these really freaking weird shooting, stabbing pains in my head. I would become paranoid and start to think I was having a stroke, I was having a heart attack, I was having, like, I don't want to trigger you guys, but even saying certain things, but like something was happening in my brain, and on it went. But the things that I really, really fixated on was the muscle twitching, the lymph nodes, my moles, like any weird mark on my body, any bruise, because I'm just the type of person that bruises really easily. And then I went through a period where I was just fixated on my bruises. Like, what does this mean? Is this like a problem, like a blood disorder? There's so many things, but honestly, like the muscle twitches, the lymph nodes, the moles, any kind of mark on my body, that's always been a big trigger for me, a big one. And actually just recently I went through some depression, and I've been dealing with some personal stress in my life that just feels like it's been ongoing. If I really sit down with myself, I can see that it's gotten better. But, I do have these moments where I go through it and I kind of feel like I'm taking 10 steps back, which I always tell you guys is all part of the healing process. And whenever I've been more stressed than usual, whenever I've been going through a depressive episode or dealing with more anxiety, often my health anxiety will start to flare. Like I can really pay attention to it now and kind of catch it, whereas before I would just completely sink into it. But even now, like just recently, I had like a little dose of health anxiety, if you will, and I found my brain starting to sink back into its old way of thinking. And like I told you guys, for me, it's always just like feeling things on my body, like checking moles and stuff. Like I have to sometimes like physically stop myself from checking again, because it becomes an OCD thing, really. And that's a whole nother topic, but it becomes an OCD thing in terms of the obsessive checking. It's like you check, and then you have relief for a teeny bit of time, which differs for everybody. For me, it didn't last long, before you're checking it again, as if you're going to see something different or feel something different. But it's just this constant cycle and pattern of checking. And for you, it could be Googling, like you Google a symptom, and then you find some relief, and then it's back to Googling again. I've had times where I've told myself, you know what, you can't keep doing this. You're going to go sit down, you're going to go do some deep breathing, you're going to go listen to a meditation, or I would get on my yoga mat to do a yoga flow. But I'm going to be honest with you, when I've had it really bad, I will constantly pause during yoga to check that mole again, or to feel that lymph node again for the millionth time. I once felt what I thought was like a little bump behind my ear, and I like just kind of on my neck, and I felt it so many times that I actually like injured myself. Like I would feel it because I would press down on my skin to feel like you just constantly feel it. I'm constantly like, oh, is it a lump? What is that? And I pressed down so many times that I actually damaged my skin there for a while. Like I bruised myself, my skin got all dry, and this is embarrassing. Like when I was going through it, I still thought like, oh my God, I'll never tell anybody this. This is just like, who acts like this so obsessively? But you can't stop yourself. Like it feels almost impossible to just stop that compulsion to just feel, to check, to Google, to look for reassurance wherever you can get it. I have this mole because it's still there. I have this mole on my back, and one day I was getting dressed, and it's like on my back, so I can only see it if I look in the mirror. And I spotted it one day when I was getting dressed, and I thought, and then my brain now fixated on this. This is when I was going through a really bad bout of health anxiety, where I was like obsessive over my moles. And I thought to myself, that looks pretty dark, or it looks pretty weird. And that became my next obsession for the next few weeks. I would take this little handheld mirror, and hold it like behind me so that I could see the mole properly. And I would check it so many times a day that I actually injured my neck. And I'm laughing, but it's not funny. If it may sound funny if you've never had health anxiety, but if you've had it before, or if you're going through it, then I know you can empathize and you understand. Like the action of turning my neck to like try and get as close a look as I could actually caused me to like kind of pull my neck out, and like I hurt myself. And while I was checking, it was in a really awkward position to check, but I was just, it's like something overtakes you where you just don't care. You like got it, like I have to check this, like what is this, like I have to know what, I have to make sure it's okay, I have to like find something. And you know, like yesterday morning I woke up and I saw some messages that you guys had sent me saying how you're just in the midst of health anxiety, and when I just talk about it, you feel some relief. And I just had this overwhelming urge to just get on my microphone, get on my laptop. It's Monday today as I'm doing this. You may be listening to this still while it's Monday or Tuesday, or maybe in the future, I don't know. But I just had this overwhelming urge to just get like sit down here with my laptop, sit down with my microphone, and just start talking to you, because that's all I wanted when I was going through it. I wish that someone would have been able to sit down with me who's gone through it and just talk to me. Like even if they're not giving me any advice, like just talk to me. Like just know, okay, I'm not insane. Somebody else is going through this. Somebody else gets it. Someone else has gone through it and they've come out of it. And maybe, just maybe, that means that I can too. I get messages all the time asking me, you know, what can I do right now to get out of this? Like, what is the one thing that you did? What did you do that just stopped you from obsessing? And I really had to sit with that actually, because there isn't one, like, it's not like one day I discovered this incredible thing and then from that day forward, I'm no longer obsessed. For me, it was a gradual thing. And I know this may be frustrating to hear because you want it gone now. But for me, when I started making changes in my life, when I started learning about anxiety, when I started changing some of the foods that I was eating, doing more exercise, when I stopped working at a job that was honestly just causing me constant stress, my anxiety just gradually started to decrease. And the thing with health anxiety is that it's such a mental thing. We just in our heads the whole time, and our brains don't stop. Like it's almost like you just want to shut your brain down, but you still want to be able to like function, but you want a switch that just shuts down that overthinking. And for me, when I started to make certain changes, it helps to support your nervous system, it helps to decrease inflammation in your body, which are all things that contribute to like that overthinking. And when I started making these changes, I noticed that I just stopped obsessing so much. And it's a hard thing to really explain, because there's not just a day that I can tell you, okay, on this day I stopped obsessing. I would notice things like if I was at the grocery store. I remember one day in particular, I was actually at the grocery store. And usually when I was at the grocery store, I would be completely fixated on like panic symptoms, on either panic symptoms that I was going through, because whenever I went to the grocery store in the midst of my worst anxiety, I would be panicking. And I'd either be pushing my cart around and just so hyper-focused on, am I going to faint? I feel sick, my heart's beating too fast. Or I would be obsessing over another symptom, and I would be walking around and kind of going over it in my head again and again, like that, for that mental reassurance. And there was one day in particular when I went to the grocery store, and I had been there for a little bit, and I realized, you know what, like I haven't been thinking about my symptoms. Oh, wait, I'm not even really experiencing symptoms right now. I'm not even obsessing over that one specific thing anymore. Like, it was just, there was a day that I really did notice that, and that was such a good feeling. If there was something that I could tell you, if there were some things that I could let you know that you could start right now. So, changing what I was eating, because every single thing you eat has an impact on your internal body. Oh, there's a squirrel right outside my window. There's a tree right outside my window. And sometimes a squirrel would just appear here and it just freaks me out. Like, I get such a fright, but it's so funny. Okay, but back to what I was saying. Changing the foods I was eating was really one of the biggest things that made a difference in my journey. And I was skeptical as hell, trust me. But when I started to make certain changes and I started to feel better, that was all the confirmation that I needed. If you've read my first book, you'll know my story. If you follow me on Instagram, check out my nutrition style posts where I do talk more about that. But changing the foods that I was eating was huge. I had no idea that certain foods I was eating were just increasing inflammation, which was decreasing serotonin, like your brain's feel-good chemical, and it was just causing all this overthinking, intensifying symptoms. So that was the biggest thing. But if I could tell you a few things to do right now, it always comes back to this. I would say start making deep breathing a daily ritual for you. If you're even able, because when we're obsessive over a symptom or multiple symptoms, we are living in our heads all day long. And when you're living in your head, you're not breathing properly. You're not deep breathing. You're not focused on your breath. When you are breathing properly, right into your belly, like those deep belly breaths, that is the one thing that truly does bring you back into the present. And experiencing that for even 2 minutes, like that 2-minute break out of your head when you're in the midst of health anxiety can feel like sweet relief, honestly. So I would say try and make a deep breathing ritual like a daily part of your life. Start with 2 minutes a day, honestly. If that's all you can do, 2 minutes a day. It really helps if you schedule a time so it's something you can look forward to. So like at this time, like for me, I usually like to do it before I have breakfast. I'll sit and I will do a meditation, and I'll sit for at least 10 to 15 minutes just deep breathing. And it's something that I look forward to now because I know that in that time, I can put everything else aside. I can put my to-do list aside, my worries aside, even just for that little bit of time, and I can just focus on my breath. Will your mind wander initially? Yes, it will. What do? You just focus back on your breath again. It's normal for your mind to wander. It doesn't mean that meditation isn't for you, something I used to say. It doesn't mean that you're not meant to be meditating. It just means that your brain is not used to this new thing. So sit down with yourself and give yourself that time every day. Soon it will be something that you'll just start to incorporate throughout your day, and eventually it will become an automatic thing. But your breath will always anchor you to the present moment. I have some meditations, if you want to continue listening to my voice. I have some meditations on YouTube that I actually made quite a while back. I want to do some new and updated ones. But if you go to my YouTube channel, I do have some meditations there that you can listen to if you'd like. I also love the Abraham Hicks meditations. I'll leave some links in the caption. I actually do an Abraham Hicks meditation every morning. And then Yoga with Adrienne, my favorite yoga teacher, she has some really good meditations too. Insight Timer is a really great app because they have loads of different options. Like some are honestly like 1 minute long. There's a teacher on there. What is her name? Sarah Blondin, I think. Sarah Blondin, yes. Her meditations are so beautiful. I can't tell you how many times I've sat listening to her words and had tears like streaming down my face. When I listen to her meditations, especially when I've been going through a lot of stress, going through a lot of anxiety, listening to her talk and be so gentle, I have sat there crying, and it's beautiful, really. So you can check her out as well. But at the end of the day, we're all going to find a teacher that works best for us, and we're going to find a practice that works best for us. But honestly, just make deep breathing a daily part of your life. Really and truly, it makes such a difference. The other things that I would recommend trying to incorporate right away, that you could start right now, would be magnesium glycinate. It's an absolutely incredible supplement. I'm going to share a link to an article in the caption where I talk all about it and its benefits. It's incredible for reducing muscle tension and increasing feel-good chemicals in your brain. So you start to feel so much better. You start to feel more relaxed. Your muscle twitches get better if you deal with a lot of muscle twitching or muscle pain or tight muscles. It helps you to sleep, because let's be honest, when you're dealing with health anxiety, it's so hard to sleep. And when you're not sleeping, it makes the overthinking worse. Your brain is just, your mind just feels even worse. So magnesium glycinate, I highly recommend. There's another supplement that it's actually a herb. It's a herb. It's called ashwagandha. I started it a few months ago when I was going through some pretty bad depression. It has been shown to have similar effects as prescription depression meds, or the prescription meds for depression, if you take it at doses of 500 to 600 milligrams per day. I'm not a doctor, so please do check with your doctor or a naturopathic doctor, but I'm just sharing my experience. And I'm currently seeing another squirrel, and he's looking right at me. He's on the roof of the house across the way, like right at the top of the roof, and I swear he's staring right at me. Maybe he has health anxiety and needs some advice. Okay, sorry, I can be really silly at times. So back to ashwagandha. I take 300 milligrams in the morning. I take 300 milligrams at night. And I find that it's an adaptogen. And adaptogens basically help your body to better deal with stress. So your body stores them away, and then when you deal with stress and your body is flooded with stress hormones, that's when they come out and they kind of counteract the negative effects that the stress has on the body. And I have definitely noticed a difference since I've been taking it, like 100%. So I highly recommend looking into ashwagandha as well. Adaptogens in general. I always talk about a company that I have partnered up with just because I love them so much. Organifi. They have a drink called Gold that has lemon balm in it. It has turmeric in it. It has reishi mushroom, which is another excellent adaptogen, as well as turmeric. I absolutely love that drink, so I'll link that as well. And then they also have a greens powder that has ashwagandha in it, actually, like a clinical dose of ashwagandha, as well as a heap of other good stuff, which I'll link in the caption. But I really love ashwagandha, so you may want to look into that if you're struggling with either anxiety, depression, stress. It's really good for just soothing. CBD is something else that is really, really effective. I haven't actually been taking it for a while just because I'm currently looking for another brand. The brand that I love is no longer shipping to Canada. So if you're in the States, you can still get it, and I'll leave the link for you. But if you're in Canada, unfortunately, we have to look elsewhere. And I've had a lot of questions about that, so I'm going to let you guys know soon. I'm looking into companies. I always like to try products first before I'm obviously just telling you guys about it. So even if I find what I think is a good company, I'm going to first try it myself before I just, tell you about it. Like, I don't ever want to tell you about something unless I have tried it and used it and it's worked or is working for me. But CBD is really great. I was so scared. To take it the first time. I know so many of us have that fear of trying new things. But honestly, I was so terrified, and then it just became a daily thing for me. And a few months ago, I was going through really bad insomnia from stress, and take I would take a dose of it, like the drops, the oil, and really it knocked me out. But I didn't wake up feeling sluggish. It helped me to sleep better. But if you are in Canada and you're not able to get access to that, the gold drink is really just as good for insomnia and for stress. And then I would obviously say that another big thing, and I think we all know this, but sometimes we just need to be reminded, is to try and stay away from Google. I know how hard it is. That urge, that overwhelming, it's just overwhelming. It's an overwhelming urge, and it's like we can't stop ourselves. But Googling never helps. It does not help. There may be times where you stumble upon something right away and you get lucky, and you do end up experiencing relief. But ultimately, you're going to, even if you find an article that looks, okay, well, that one looks good, right underneath it may be a link to another article that's telling you something completely different and really scary. So the best way to avoid sinking into that fear is to stop Googling. We're not doctors. We can't diagnose ourselves, okay? Just, I'm trying to, tell you what you could do, because I know how hard it is. Unless the internet actually shuts down or someone physically takes our technology away, it's really hard. Sometimes I would just put my phone down and I would go outside and go for a walk. Because sometimes that urge is so overwhelming just for a short time and then it kind of wears off. Other times I know it can just stay and linger. But if you're able to not Google in that moment of intense fear, and you can even attempt to distract yourself with something else, that is going to make a difference. It was hard for me initially. It's you have to just continuously train your brain. So it's something that you may find yourself, sinking back in and Googling, and then you tell yourself, okay, I'll try harder next time. But then just keep trying until eventually that urge to Google isn't as strong anymore. I always tell people, if you have to Google, search health anxiety forums. Go read other people that are sharing how they're terrified of this and that, or go learn all about health anxiety, or come to my Instagram page, or very soon look at my book instead, because I want this new book to be like your new Google, where you can look up a symptom and everything is in relation to anxiety. So this book isn't going to scare you. You don't have to be worried okay, what if this section is scary? This is not going to be a scary book. I am talking about every symptom and everything in between in relation to anxiety and stress only. No diseases or anything scary like that. Therapy is another excellent option if you really just feel completely overwhelmed and you just don't know where to go or where to turn. Therapy can really make a big difference. So you could look into that as well. I do have a therapy resource that I will share in the caption as well. And then for long-term relief, honestly, I really do believe my first book will help you. If you've read my first book and maybe you haven't been putting anything into effect yet, maybe go have a look again through the food sections and the supplement sections and start making a few changes. Even just tiny changes start to make a difference. The small things we do every day start to add up. They really, really do. Even if it feels like you're not doing anything, eventually you'll get to a day where you realize how those little things started to add up. If you're able to, try and find ways to just move your body every day, even if all you can manage is just a gentle stretch. It's really good for just standing up and shaking out your limbs, physically just helps to release all that built up tension and fear and adrenaline. Maybe make it a goal to listen to a song you love once a day and dance your way through that whole song, or sing your way through that whole song, or go for a walk every day, or start like I did. Like for me, what held me accountable was I started with like a 30-day yoga challenge, and I really got into it and wanted to finish the 30 days. And so much happened for me in those 30 days. That is the one thing that got me stuck into yoga. And here I am, like 6 years later, still doing yoga almost every single day. But that's my thing. Like your thing could be something completely different. But once you find it, like it will be easy to stick to. So finding ways to move your body and get your blood flowing is really, really important for releasing a lot of that adrenaline and stress, for reducing stress hormones in your body, which all contribute to that overthinking and obsessing. So that's something that I highly recommend as well. And just making time like for self-care, like taking time for yourself. Don't overwork yourself to the point of burnout and then try to look for things to help you. Like give yourself that time every single day. We can make time. Like often I'll hear, I don't have time, I'm too busy. Or, maybe you have kids and it's really difficult for you, but then you squeeze in 3 minutes a day. You can fit in 3 minutes, and you deserve to fit in 3 to 5 minutes, okay? I think we need to start telling ourselves that. We need to start realizing that we deserve that time in order to make that time, if that makes sense at all. I am going to finish up here. I'm going to wrap this up. I really hope that you can leave this episode feeling some kind of comfort or relief or connection with somebody else who really does get it. Like I said, we all have our own unique experiences, and I may not know the specific thing that you're going through, but I do know what it feels like to obsess and to feel isolated and to feel crazy and like you're losing your mind and like you're not sure if this is ever going to get better. But I promise you, if you take my advice with the things that I've just shared, and not even that, if you're just gentle with yourself every single day, and every single day you tell yourself, you know what, I'm getting better. You just say that once a day. You look in the mirror or you sit with yourself or whenever. Like I'm getting better. That's all you do. And even if it feels like absolute crap, it doesn't feel real, you don't feel like you're getting better, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your brain starts to believe what you tell it. So that's what you say once a day. You say, I am getting better. I am better. Not I'm getting better, sorry. I am better, because your brain, you have to put it in the present tense. So every single day you say, I am better. I am healthy. I am grateful. I am happy. I'm excited. Whatever comes to mind, just say it. Whatever feels good to you, whatever makes you feel good, you say it. And even on days when you don't feel good, you just say those words, because I promise you, they will end up manifesting into your reality. Okay? So please be gentle with yourself. I hope that you feel some bit of comfort from listening to me go on and on. I really tried to share some top things here with you, but I will keep talking about this because I know it's something that many of us deal with. I'm sending you all the love in the world. I'm sending you the biggest hug. You're going to be okay. I promise you, you're going to be okay. It doesn't feel like that right now. It feels impossible. It feels scary. You wonder when it's going to get better. Don't think about the future right now. Just focus on right now. Just be here now. Take those deep breaths. Make that time for yourself once a day. And know that, honestly, you have a whole community of support. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, or where else am I? YouTube. I need to start up my YouTube channel again. TikTok. There's a whole community behind you. We're all in this together. We're all in different parts of the world, but we are all connected, okay? I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.